Because see, somebody like Trump, I mean, you'd have to get partly into his own formation and so on. You know, he had a very, very precious mother from Scotland who made it here penniless, and then there's Mary Ann, and she used to tell Trump. She said, "I just hope you don't grow up to be somebody that I'm ashamed of.
Mm.
I just hope you grow up to be somebody I can be proud of, not based on the money you have, but based on who you are." Now she's coming out of a working class situation in a highly, highly impoverished situation in Scotland as an immigrant,
Mm.
comes to the United States, and she meets Fred, Trump's father. But Trump has this element in his past that he continually pushes aside because Roy Cohn and a whole host of others, including his father, had socialized him into a might makes right
Mm.
view of the world. The Ten Commandments mean nothing. The 11th commandment, thou shalt not get caught, is the only important one.
Yeah, right, right.
Life is a matter of a survival of the slickest and the richest and the smartest. Now, he's not all alone. America
Mm.
in general, and not just American empires in general. There's been 70 empires in the history of the species. The United States is 68th empire in the history of the
Mm.
species. You know that. But the United States is unique because it denies it's an empire.
Yes, right.
And therefore you can't understand the truth. That's what the myth of American idealism
That's
and,
right.
and how U.S. foreign policy endangers the world.
Right,
You deny you're an empire. You
right.
deny the very power that you exert and the violence that you promote in
Mm.
the name of what? Innocence. James Baldwin said what?
Mm.
That innocence itself is a crime.
Mm-hmm.
And so Trump is a manifestation of the worst of the U.S. empire,
Mm.
but he's had elements inside of him that he has thoroughly ignored, and he ends up choosing to be a gangster.
Mm.
Now, a gangster is different than a hypocrite. Hypocrisy
Right.
is the tribute that vice plays the virtue, right?
Yes.
Hypocrites have standards, they just violate them. Gangsters have no standards. They say anything, do anything, think they can get away with it. No
Mm.
accountability, no answerability, no responsibility. That's the history of Trump. That's also the history of the U.S. empire in terms of its attempt to shape the world in its own image and interest. So
Mm.
then here comes those prophetic ones. I was so glad you invoked Melville, brother, in White
Mm.
Jacket.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
Oh, yes, indeed. Because what does Melville say in Moby Dick?
Mm.
America, you are addicted to self destruction.
Mm.
And if you don't learn how to muster the courage to think critically and to love and be concerned about the least of these, just like the Pequod, the ship in that powerful epic, the epic that he wrote at 32 years old, you're going under. And how does it end? Ishmael's on top of what? A coffin. The ship goes under. That
Mm.
self destruction overwhelms the moral and spiritual forces. But those of us who are committed to the moral and spiritual forces will
Mm.
hold on. Now, you know, and I know, see, I come from a people, brother, who've
Mm.
been on intimate relations with catastrophe,
Mm.
calamity, monstrosity,
Mm.
244 years of the most barbaric slavery of modern times, and then another
Mm.
100 years of neo-slavery of Jim and Jane Crow. They lynching black folk every 2.5 days for 50 years. How do we generate some courage to love, courage to hope, courage
Mm.
to resist, courage to remember, courage to have a reverence for something bigger than our egos? Moral and spiritual cultivation. How do you
Mm.
cultivate? By example, not by textbook.
Mm.
No, no, not
Mm.
by words on paper. There's some beautiful words on paper in the U.S. Constitution. It was pro-slavery in practice. We're talking about actual examples, practices. That's the key thing, though, brother.
Thanks for watching. This video is a product of Current Affairs Magazine, the country's leading independent left print magazine based here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Go to currentaffairs.org to find out more about us, and currentaffairs.org/subscribe to subscribe to our absolutely gorgeous bi-monthly print edition. Get it in your mailbox. You can also subscribe to the Current Affairs News Briefing, the Current Affairs podcast, or you can subscribe to our digital edition. Current Affairs is entirely reader-supported. We have no ads. We have no corporate backers. We depend on you. So please consider purchasing a subscription or making a donation to Current Affairs today. We are a 501c3 non-profit organization, and your donations are tax-deductible to the extent allowable by law. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.